Hello and welcome, I'm Ghostprime. I'm going to take a look at the Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime. I'm going to keep this sort of like as objective as I can. I'm going to go over what I don't like and what I do like rather than just seeing it as all as a package. I'm trying to look at this through not rose-colored glasses. Just see it for what it is, what it could be, maybe some of the improvements they could have made, or is it perfect, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. And I don't think any figure is perfect. But I know there's a lot of other reviews out there. Appreciate you clicking on this one. I'm going to try to make this as swift as possible. Anyway, please like and subscribe. And without any further ado, let's get to the review. Okay, we're going to start off with the packaging. And honestly, the packaging is pretty great. Don't have a lot of complaints about this. It's a beautiful looking image. Very iconic. I mean, you can't really complain about this. Maybe the exception of there's no window. I would have liked to see maybe the classic Optimus Prime where he's in his truck mode, this trailer there. That would have been really cool, like a 40th anniversary sort of like one. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a big box. You know, it looks good. Honestly, you can see the pictures right there. You can store everything. Optimus Prime art on the side, right there. Very iconic pose. And on the back, we got 40 steps into this, different things you could do with it. I mean, it's pretty much all here. This even looks good. These are actually kind of awesome. Transformers the movie. And once you get everything out of the box, you do get one of these Studio Series backdrops, which are cool. But I really wish they combined and connected together. I've said this in other videos because this would be really awesome to have on a shelf you could collect all of them, stick them together, and actually have a backdrop on your shelf. Maybe even create some of your own, floor pieces here, some different set pieces, and have like a whole thing. Would actually look really good because these are, it's a really nicely made backdrop, and they look good against it. Unfortunately, this is going back in the box. I saved my Optimus Prime boxes. So, and that's it. It's kind of useless to me that way. Because of all this, it just doesn't connect. Moving on to what you get in accessories. You get Optimus Prime. You get a roller. Now, okay, first complaint here. They didn't paint this, so it doesn't match. But it's a very small complaint, I think. I think most of these complaints that I have are going to be really small. Yeah, it's pretty good. You get his gun, which is actually painted really, really nice. So there's no complaint there. I do wish that this was a bit longer, though. First rule of complaints, these come bent. Mine is a little less bent because I had them in the trailer overnight, trying to straighten them out. But they're these rubbery plastic. And that is another issue with his axe. Now, his axe is a rubbery plastic. That in itself, I don't really mind. But I think it could have looked a little better. If you compare this to, like, the Missing Link, it's really not as good. Because both the Missing Link and the extra accessory pack for the Earthrise version are hard plastic, where this is a soft plastic, which you can see it's kind of warped. Go on to the cool things. You get this piece right here, which is all done the same type of soft rubbery plastic. And let's see if that's the right side. This piece actually will fit, maybe it's this one, fit into here. So you have this whole thing that goes under the truck mode, which I'll show in truck mode. These are actually kind of cool. You have this too, and there's another thing that I wish was a little different. I wish the wheels were on this. Instead, what they have you do to mimic the roller, like on the Masterpiece, is you have them on top of roller, which is clever, but I think it could be a little better. But it's a clever way to do it, and I wish this was a little bigger. Now, this here piece actually goes inside the trailer. As we all know, the repair drone goes at the top via these two little pegs, just like that. But what this trailer does not have, and it's something I always really liked on the Generation 1, is so it can turn, but you can't put it on the outside like that, like you can on the G1, or in the front. There's no holes here to actually do that. The Masterpiece, or MP10 at least, does that. and so does the Generation 1. I think that's an oversight. I think they could have stuck that in there. It would have saved them on plastic. It would have saved a little bit of budget, maybe. I'm not really sure completely sure on how the budgets work, but this is good enough. The canopy opens, which is cool, done in like a translucent plastic. The radar dish comes up, stays up, which is awesome. You got articulation on the arm here, which is there, all the way around there, an elbow there, and the claw opens, which is all very cool. I definitely dig that. There's no paint at all inside the trailer. It's all done in this dark gray, which does look actually nice on it. It is a little shiny though, as you can see the reflection of my light there, which would lend itself to fingerprints and scratches. However, the paint work is done pretty well on it, so you know, no complaints there. These are nice to have that there. Glad that those are there. These pieces here, chunky and big, go all the way out. No real paint at all on the trailer besides the stripe and the Autobot logo. Pinned wheels, looks really good. Okay, the tail lights there. Would be cool to have a license plate, but that's nitpicky. Trailer's acceptable in my opinion. On to Prime. Again, I'm trying to make this fast. This figure is so far universally praised. Make sure I don't knock my background down. Now, this is universally praised figure, right? He looks pretty decent. Let's get rid of this stuff so we can focus directly on the figure. All right, first things first. Yeah, he looks pretty good as Prime, but let's talk price. So you get this, you got all those accessories, and you get the trailer. And it's $90, which is, I think, a pretty high price. I think I paid about that for my MP10. That came with the trailer, came with an axe, it came with the roller, had metal and rubber on it, it had chrome. It had a lot more things than this one does. Now, I understand that this is not a masterpiece. Okay, this is not a masterpiece. It's not supposed to be a masterpiece. We're not supposed to be comparing with masterpieces. But I think in this case, it's comparable, especially when it comes to price. I'm not, shitting on the price, but it is high. It is a high price. So I know there's a lot of things that are actually, design-wise added into it. A couple things just about this design I wish were done a little better. Would be these pieces and these pieces. I wish they were chrome. I don't know why they don't do chrome anymore, honestly. Cobra Commander, the new face has chrome. These should have chrome. This is not very much chrome. Maybe for the bumper here, which is the backpack, would be scratched. I don't know. I don't know why they don't do chrome. It can't be that expensive of a process to offset the price that much. And it's something that costs this much. I think they could have fit it in a little bit. However, that is a nitpick. Design-wise, I think the head looks really good. It looks very reminiscent of MP10. He's got blue painted eyes. I believe that's paint, the gray paint there. Limited articulation on the head, though. It does do 360 around, but you can't really look up and down, which, again, there's, that is a bad point. But you got some nice paint there. Windows here. I really wish they'd find a way to not have those clips in there, because I think that detracts from it. That might just be the necessary for the type of clear that they did here. But it does look nice with the silver paint under it. His chest, of course, can open, and revealing the matrix chamber. And it actually has a solid chamber with the opening there. It's not accurate to the show, but it looks decent enough. I wish it was painted. Comes with a removable matrix, just like all the Primes do nowadays. Moving on down to the grill, wish it was chrome. The stripe here is done in a gray, which I think it should have been a white color, if I'm not mistaken. I like the fact that the outlined Autobot logo. I think that's very cool. Love this right here. I don't really have any complaints there. Now mine, and I'm not sure, there's a huge seam right there. I'm not sure if that's just mine or that's just a running thing that had the assembly issue. Moving on down, no paint roll here. Looks good, I think. This does bend like this, like it does in the cartoon, and this is flat. That's a transformation issue. I don't think it detracts too much, but it is sort of a little bit of an eyesore, along with the red you can see poking out there. On the back, we got some hinges. We got a giant backpack, which honestly, in person, it doesn't bother me. It packs up kind of nice. It packs really well. Looks good. So articulation-wise, some things are very cool and some things are not. There definitely was like a push and pull on this, I think. So he does have, it's very hard to do, he does have butterfly joints, both front and back, which is really awesome. You know, bicep swivel. But here's where it gets sort of like weak. That's a 90-degree elbow. Why? I really wish they could have done more with that. That would have given it just that much more articulation, which would have been nice. And you can't actually go all the way back, and that's for transformation, which leaves this bit right here very hollow. So that is, you know, a point that I wish didn't do that. And this also, these are loose, which is for transformation, but there seem to be, I knock into these all the time. And I think over time, these are the stacks are really gonna come loose. He has wrist articulation. He has the finger articulation, which is the same as it was on Rodimus. So you can have these here are all done on a pin. These are all pinned, these three together, and he has a single finger. No thumb articulation, so he could point at you. So that is cool. He has full race rotation, no ab crunch at all. I think if they could have done it, probably should have done it. It would have really been nice. He has his hip skirts here, leg all the way out. Thigh swivel there to there. Little over 90 at the knee, and that was something that kind of surprised me since the elbows can't do it. And I like the detail that kind of appears there. Feet here only have rotation this way. I wish they had rotation, you know, this way, more this way. I don't know if they could have done it the way the transformation works, but it would have been cool to see if they had something like that. Maybe it would have added too much to the cost. Again, it's a nitpick, really. It's a nitpick. This thing actually poses pretty nice. Getting into some comparisons. There he is with Earthrise Prime. So you can see he's a little bit bigger and kind of better proportions overall. Definitely have a, you know, it's better. It's a lot better. You can see on the side, I have his jetpack attached there, so it looks like he has the backpack. But, you know, from the back, he looks good from the back, even from the front. I think they did a good job on that. The wheels completely disappear here in the legs where they're out on the Earthrise. So I think they did a pretty good job on this one. Now, if you have the Sentry Drone pack, here's the gun that came with that. That is massive. And here is the gun for Studio Series. And yeah, I've always thought this thing was way too big, but let's see if we could get it in there because it's a 5mm peg. And honestly, yeah, if you have that gun, I think that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Although the paintwork on this one is better, but you could give this one to your Earthrise, and it definitely fits more with that. So I think these work. And the axe, like I was saying, with the Sentry Drone is all nice and clear. Where here's the axe for the, Studio Series. You could tell. You could really tell this one looks better. Again, you could use it, but the hands are not the same the way the hands work, which I'll go over in a minute. And moving on to comparisons, we'll bring in here Rodimus Prime. So you can see he's a little, maybe a head shorter than Prime here. Still pretty bulky. Weight-wise, he is dense, much heavier. And here he is, how he compares to Ultra Magnus. As you can see, Ultra Magnus towers over him as well. Ultra Magnus is just a huge bot. There's really no getting around that considering how Ultra Magnus transforms. So for accessories, where I showed him holding his gun, and when you're not using his gun, there's these two pegs here that there's a slot right there, and he could just sort of position it like that. So he could hold his gun in his backpack. Now for his Energon axe, make sure his fingers are tucked in like that. And this is for transformation. You take out, you put his hand in by opening that, swinging his fist all the way around, which leaves this here little nub on the end. It does that for either hand. As you can see, there is a port there, and you just stick that on. And there he is with his axe. And these all store in the trailer. All right, so getting into transformation, I'm gonna try to move transformation really quick. Just kind of go through it real fast because there's a lot of other reviews out there if you really want to go through a slow one. So it's pretty complex, but not too complex. Honestly, it's a good point. It's actually fun. There he is in truck mode. And let me get this all squeezed together. Got them as tight as I could together. And before you ask, yes, I do have the problem. These are upside down. As you can see, this top part is supposed to be here. It's not too big of an issue. It's barely noticeable. If I didn't point this out to you, you wouldn't have noticed. You got some detail in here with the fifth wheel. Mine, for some reason, doesn't really like to peg in super solid. Okay, it's solid, but it's like you can see where there's some movement here. I have transformed this a few times, so it is getting a little better, so maybe it's just one of those things where it's stiff, because the joints on this are really stiff. But on the side, you can see the rivets and the handles and where the door would be, the door handle all molded in there, which is a really nice detail. The front there. Now mine, it's hard to see on camera. I don't know if I can get it in the right angle, but it has some underspray here. We can see the white. So this is silver with white paint over it, which is a good thing, but it's showing through. I don't like that. This is painted, which is nice where the license plate goes, but it also means toy hacks have a hard time getting a sticker there. So that's a shame. You got the two yellow coming up, the headlights. Wheels are all pinned, plastic wheels, and considering it actually has a really, like, this is not much clearance, but it rolls like a champ. It rolls very well. That is a good thing. This is open in the back, which, oh man, it does bother me. I don't like that, and I wish they could have done something about it. This, I think they had to do because of the way the arms move around, just for clearance purposes. So I'll give that a pass, but this is a huge gaping hole. Again, these are all nitpicks, okay? I mean, I'm trying to just point out some of the things that I think I don't like in this, but it's not terrible. Also, the red doesn't quite match the red paint versus the red, but the reds are very hard to get. Let's bring in the Earthrise, so it gets a good size comparison there. The Earthrise has a lot more detail with the silver and everything. Now, the stripe's not there just because it wasn't like that in the cartoon for Optimus Prime. So, you know, take that as you will. So these are the two and how they look together. Definitely a huge difference between these two. However, we're going to need to bring in the trailer for the rest of this review. And this is not a complaint. That looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. It's wonderful. I like the way this looks. It looks iconic. It looks like the cartoon. It kind of ticks the boxes. I can't complain about this. I have no complaints about this. Especially when this is what we got last time. I mean, the difference of the size of this trailer is amazing. They actually finally made a really, really good trailer. Put that down. Let's just compare the trailers for a second. I mean, quite a difference there. It is a massive, massive difference. It doesn't even compare. And the trailer itself actually has its own functionality. So, as we saw before, it does open up. It opens up a lot like the G1. But before we open it up, let's open this. So you pull back this bumper piece, tabs in the top there, opens up for storage, kind of like Optimus Prime had. And you can store your blast effects pieces in there. And just open up the trailer door. Open up the sides. Again, this is all very G1. Even this detail right here looks like the Generation 1. So you'll also see you have these ports. And all these ports are for the blast effects. And even on this, you see these two ports here. So what we'll do is we'll bring in Roller, and Roller has two ports on the underside of it. And he could go in there. That way you don't have Roller just flinging around in there. Also, a thing with Roller, besides what I can show you, those two ports, you can stick on the gun on the top there. The gun also pegs in right here or right here, whichever your preference is, by the same peg system that works on his back, just like so. The blast effects, which can be attached there, but they're bent, which are really just annoying. These blast effect pieces could go right here. Now, I'm not sure if this will make indents over time on these pieces, since they are soft rubber. That is a concern. The axe goes in the same manner, and you'll notice there's a little peg hole right there. So you put that peg hole, you line that up. Once you get it lined up in there, you just tab that in there, and that stays really well. These also have peg holes too. I did forget to mention that. You can see there's a little peg hole there. There's a peg. You just push that in, straighten that out, and those stay just like that. And your Roller could just kind of friction in like that, and then close it up, and you have nothing rattling around inside your trailer, which is cool. I don't have like I said, there's very few things I could possibly say about this trailer that are bad. I think it's a gorgeous trailer, and I'm glad we finally got a proper trailer for Prime. I guess I didn't show you how he pulls it. Good range of motion on it. Rolls super well with it. Doesn't hinder at all. Honestly, I think that's a win for that one. Lastly, of course, the blast effects. I'm tired of blast effects. I really am. I'm tired of getting it with everything. I think maybe the cost could have been used for a welder or a gas pump, whatever you want to call it. But honestly, these are pretty awesome. So these actually just peg into the underside. There's two little peg holes there, and peg into the underside if I lose the base right there too. Which you're gonna peg to the underside. I mean, that's really cool. I actually really like this a lot, way more than I think I should. This amuses me in a way I didn't think it would. And I've always liked how Prime does that in the movie, and he has a thruster under there. The thrusters thrust him up, and so he could jump and transform. It's a really cool little touch. Honestly, it is a chef's kiss touch. It's a pretty good one. I can't complain about this. It's really cool. It's fun. And I kind of wouldn't mind displaying it like that if the robot mode wasn't so good. It's way too expensive to buy two of these, but that's cool. That is cool. One last thing I did want to go over about with Roller before we get into final thoughts. It does roll really nice, You got these two little exhaust ports are kind of like the big pieces that went off on the original roller. It is done in silver, not blue, but it could fit, if I could get his legs in there, it could fit a Titan Master if I could get his legs all bent. Definitely have trouble getting this guy in there. There he is. I think that's cool little playability that you really didn't need to have in it. But if you have some of these, it's cool that you could put them in there. It's a little rad little thing that you could do, and I think that's fun. Anyway, let's get on to some final thoughts. So in conclusion, it's not perfect, but it is a pretty good figure. I do think the price is a little hefty for what you get, but it is a really chunky figure, and he's got some weight and heft. Quality feels great. Plastic quality feels really good on it. Besides the aforementioned issues that are honestly nitpicky, I think it's very overwhelmingly positive. It looks great. The backpack is not that much of a problem in person, and it folds up real nice, real compact, and does a good job. You can get this thing in some decent poses. It's got some good paintwork on it. Really, the only complaints I have is the price. Wishing these were chrome, and a little bit of the articulation with the head and the elbows, I think could have used some help. There's one other thing I would like to note that I did not note in the review is these pieces here are cast in blue and painted red, and they slide in this channel. That red over repeated transformations will wear off and create a blue part there, which will show up in truck mode. So if you do repeated transformations, that might affect that. Keep that in mind because this thing is fun to transform. It's a decent fiddle former. And I think that's an important thing on a transformer is how good the transformation is. This one has a good transformation. That trailer's beautiful. The accessories are pretty good. Even the blast effects. So yeah, buy this if you haven't or you're on the fence. It's pretty good. Anyway, I definitely appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you in the next review.